There aren't enough Latinos working in really high fashion spaces as makeup artists, hairstylists, photographers, DPs, agents. And I think just like anybody and any group, it's so important because fashion is obsessed with newness. And I think if we're looking for an evolution in aesthetic and ideas and colors and whatever, it only benefits all of us to include more of our experiences and see what crazy things can come of it. My initial relationship with beauty growing up, I think, was probably my mother. My mother and movies. My mother would always do this like really thick, she has really voluminous, big, curly, wavy lioness hair. And I would just see her every morning doing this really thick, black Amy Winehouse liner. And growing up, eventually my parents divorced and she was a single mom, but even throughout all that experience, being a single mom and raising two children in California, she would always make the effort of dressing up, doing her makeup, looking great, wearing the platform heels. And I think for me, like that was always my closest form of relationship to beauty, which was like self-preservation. And then movies, cinema, music videos were always a point of fantasy and escapism. For me, from the beginning, I've always been really active about representation on set, in front of the camera, behind the camera, in the agencies, especially being a refugee, an immigrant, Colombian, the first Colombian makeup artist to do the cover of American Vogue, which is cool for me, but also kind of crazy. There aren't enough Latinos working in really high fashion spaces as makeup artists, hairstylists, photographers, DPs, agents. And I think just like anybody and any group, it's so important because fashion is obsessed with newness. And I think if we're looking for an evolution in aesthetic and ideas and colors and whatever, it only benefits all of us to include more of our experiences and see what crazy things can come of it. And of course, I mean, the amount of messages I get from a lot of younger kids looking up to me, and just kind of that is a driving force as well, as corny as that sounds. But it is important to be able to see yourself, an example of you, someone like you in the space you want to be in, or else it kind of feels impossible. When I was younger, I wanted to be an actor. Like I never saw anyone like me on TV that sounded like me. And I kind of just like gave up on it because I was like, I'm not fighting that fight. That one's not for me. So representation is important, so that you feel like you can go after it yourself. I think in this industry, it's easy to become addicted to thinking you're only as good as your last. And I think I'm trying to define my success not by like the amount that I work, but by the quality of work that I put out. Success to me is being a happy person. And so finding a balance between committing and creating work that is memorable, true to me, but while also maintaining the joy of like being a human being and enjoying my love life, my friendships, my family, New York City. To me, success is balance, as much balance as you can have. So I'm constantly striving to create images that mean something, that look provocative, make enough money to live as comfortably as I want, and also have enough freedom to do whatever I want when I'm not working, because that's kind of why I do what I do, is because I want to own my time. I don't want to be chained to anybody's vision of timeline. So that's success to me. I get this question a lot. Some of my favorite models and muses that I work with, I have had a longer relationship with. People like Paloma Elsesser, Lily Rose Depp, Lola, Lourdes Leon, Joan Smalls. To me, like these women have come into my life like super organically, and I really prefer it that way with everyone. In terms of work, I really try and not like force myself into any kind of professional relationship, because I find the best collaborations are the ones where people come together organically and look for each other. And what I find in these women, like Paloma, Lola, and Lily, is that they're extremely smart, extremely intellectual, very self-assured. They have a strength to them that is both intellectual and sensual. That to me is very seductive. And I'm attracted to really mysterious, enigmatic people. I like people you can't like, that don't oversaturate culture. I like people that know how to like keep things private, who have mystery to them. I think we oversaturate people with ourselves in general. So I'm attracted to mystery, intellectual strength, sexual power, and a creative agenda. Beauty and its definition. I think what's cool about beauty is that we keep trying to define it, but what's kind of amazing and lucky for me is that there's never really a definition. I think we're trying to always find a definition which kind of keeps us all employed, to be honest. But there really isn't a definition, and it's always changing. We're into one thing one year, the next thing the other, and it's also really toxic. We start to make people's individuality into product, and when that product is no longer fashionable, we throw it away. So I would say beauty is undefinable, and yeah, that's it. And within this industry, sometimes deranged. Okay. The tea. I feel like the biggest challenges I faced in my career, I started working in this industry when I was 22. And so I think ageism, but also being on certain sets and shoots where even though we're all on the same shoot, your professionalism is questioned just because of your age. I think with fashion and in this industry, people build like tight-knit communities and collaborators. And it can be sometimes scary to like take a chance on other artists, whether it's a hairstylist, a makeup artist, or a photographer, or a stylist. And I think it's always a challenge, and it will always probably be a challenge to kind of break through certain walls of teams that feel so tight, especially like an older generation of fashion image makers. They have it set in stone, and sometimes it can be scary to take a chance on a younger newcomer. But that's it. You kind of just have to keep pushing. My first American Vogue cover with Dua Lipa, shot by Tyler Mitchell. I was elated. I was like, this is crazy. I finally got an American Vogue cover sooner than I thought I would, actually. It was beautiful. What was also amazing about that cover for me was usually American Vogue doesn't lean super beauty heavy on the covers. It's very, timeless and natural. And for that cover, they went with a look where she had this really foiled silver eye. And that was huge for me and different for the magazine. So it was validating that the tower that we approved that kind of look for that cover, because I was pretty sure it was just going to be a natural face, and I was honored to have had the opportunity to have some kind of statement on that cover and for my first American Vogue cover. So thank you, Vogue. But what's funny is like sometimes you get all these questions. I'm like, when did you know you made it? Or like, I'm like, I really don't think that even that moment for me was as incredible as it was, and as I still I have so much to do. So when I found out, I was excited, and then I was already like, okay, you gotta keep doing more, which is kind of sick, but gorge.